Here's something most men don't realize. A woman doesn't start chasing you when you talk more. She starts chasing you when she feels your absence. That's the uncomfortable truth most guys never want to face. Because deep down, they think effort equals attraction. They believe the more they call, text, or explain themselves, the more she'll see their value. But that's not how female psychology works. When you pull away, when you go silent, when you stop giving her the emotional attention she was used to, something changes in her. At first, she'll act like she doesn't care. She'll post, she'll laugh, she'll act unbothered. But over time, that quiet starts eating at her. Women are emotional creatures, and silence speaks louder to them than words ever could. This is where no contact becomes powerful, but only if you understand what it's really about. It's not a game. It's not about waiting 30 days before you text her again. It's about creating emotional space where she starts feeling your absence instead of hearing from you. It's psychological. Because when a woman feels she's lost your attention, that invisible validation she used to have, her mind starts racing. She wonders, is he over me? Did he move on? Who's giving him attention now? That emotional curiosity can flip her from detached to chasing, if you play it right. But here's the catch. Most men destroy their power during no contact. They break the silence too early. They post out of desperation. They pretend to move on, but everything they do screams, I still need her. And women can sense that instantly. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly how to make a woman chase you after no contact, not through manipulation, but through understanding female psychology and using it the right way. Welcome to the channel, where we cut through the noise and talk about what really works in modern dating. If you've ever gone no contact and wondered why she didn't come running back, stay with me. By the end of this, you'll know how to make her feel your value and want to come to you on her own. 1. When silence starts. Speaking louder than words. The first thing you have to understand about no contact is this. Silence isn't just a lack of communication. It's communication in itself. When you stop reaching out, you're not doing nothing. You're sending a powerful message that says, I'm not waiting around for you anymore. And that message hits deeper than any text or phone call ever could. At first, a woman might take your silence lightly. She'll assume you're just trying to get a reaction, or that you'll come back after a few days. Most guys do. That's what she's seen before. Men who say they're done, but come running back the moment she pulls away a little more. So she tests your silence. She watches. She waits. She might post something on social media that she knows will get your attention. A new picture. A quote about moving on. Maybe even something that hints she's with someone else. What she's really doing is checking if you're still emotionally available. If you don't react, that's when silence starts speaking. It tells her that something has changed. That you're not the same man who needed her validation anymore. And that creates discomfort. Not because you're ignoring her, but because she can't read you anymore. When a woman can't figure you out, her emotions start working against her logic. She begins to think about you more often, replaying old conversations, wondering what you're up to, who you're talking to, and whether she misjudged your value. Imagine this. She's scrolling late at night, maybe a little bored, a little lonely. She sees your name in her contacts. She remembers the attention you used to give her, the energy you brought into her day. But now, it's quiet. No message, no check-in, nothing. That quiet space you created is what makes her start to feel something again. It's not the words that pull her in. It's the contrast between your old self and your new, silent one. Men often underestimate how powerful that emotional contrast is. Silence changes the tone of the connection. It flips the roles. Suddenly, she's the one checking her phone, wondering if you moved on, if you found someone new, if you stopped caring. 2. The emotional void that makes her curious. When a man goes silent after no contact, something very specific happens in a woman's mind. She begins to feel an emotional void. That void isn't about your physical presence. It's about the energy you used to give her. You see, when a woman gets used to your attention, your messages, your calls, your compliments, even your availability, that becomes part of her emotional routine. She might not have appreciated it when she had it, but once it's gone, the absence starts to echo. That echo is what triggers curiosity. She starts to notice how quiet her days feel. The validation she used to get from your attention is suddenly missing, and even if she doesn't consciously admit it, she begins to miss the feeling of being wanted. Women often confuse missing a man with missing how they felt around him. That emotional warmth, the reassurance that someone was thinking about them. When no contact removes that, her brain starts to crave it again. Now this is where most men ruin everything. They think they can speed up the process by posting on social media or dropping subtle hints. But here's the truth. When you try to make her curious, she knows you're trying. The key is to let her curiosity grow naturally. The more space you give her, the more her mind fills in the blanks, and trust me, her imagination will do more work than any post ever could. The emotional void works like gravity. The more you pull away with genuine calm and detachment, the more she feels the pull. But the moment you break no contact just to check in, you release that tension. You give her certainty again, and her curiosity disappears. The power of curiosity lies in not knowing. Think about it from her perspective. When she knew you were always available, she had control. She could predict your reactions. She could get your attention whenever she wanted. But once that predictability is gone, uncertainty takes over. And uncertainty creates attraction. That's how female psychology works. The unknown becomes exciting. The unavailable becomes desirable. 3. Why chasing kills the psychological tension. The biggest mistake men make after no contact is trying to win her back. That phrase alone kills your power because it assumes she's the prize and you're the one doing the chasing. But here's the thing. Attraction doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in tension. And every time you chase, explain yourself, or try to convince a woman to come back, you destroy that tension completely. When a woman feels like she can predict you, when she knows exactly what you'll say, when you'll text, and that you'll always respond, her emotional curiosity dies. She relaxes emotionally. There's no mystery left. And when that happens, her attraction starts to fade, even if she still likes you as a person. That's why so many guys say, "But I did everything right. I treated her well. I was consistent. I showed I cared," and still ended up being ignored. They forget that consistency in attraction doesn't mean constant availability. Psychological tension is what keeps a woman emotionally engaged. It's that sense of, I don't fully have him. It's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about maintaining a level of unpredictability that keeps her emotionally invested. When you chase her after no contact, you remove that feeling. You confirm to her subconscious that she still has power over you. And once she knows that, she doesn't need to chase, because you've already done the work for her. Think about how many men break their silence by saying something like, "Hey, just wanted to check if you're okay," or "I've been thinking about you lately." It sounds harmless, even kind. But psychologically, it gives away your position. It tells her you've been waiting, that you haven't moved on, that her absence affected you more than it did her. That instantly removes the tension that no contact was building up. 4. How detachment reverses the power dynamic. Detachment is one of the most misunderstood parts of attraction. Most men think being detached means pretending not to care or acting cold toward a woman. But that's not true detachment. That's just emotional theater. Real detachment means you no longer need her response to feel in control. You're calm whether she calls or not, replies or ignores you, stays or walks away. And that's what completely reverses the power dynamic after no contact. See, women can feel energy. When a man is detached, his actions come from self-respect, not strategy. He doesn't say, "I'm not texting her to make her miss me." He simply doesn't text because he's busy living his life. That kind of genuine detachment creates a different vibration, one that communicates strength, confidence, and emotional maturity. And those traits are rare, which makes them powerful. The reason detachment reverses power is simple. The person who cares less about the outcome always has more control. When you're detached, you're not reacting to her. You're responding to your own standards. You've decided what kind of energy you want in your life, and you're not begging for attention from someone who isn't meeting that standard. That attitude shifts the dynamic instantly because it removes her emotional leverage over you. Women are used to men trying to convince them of their worth. But when you stop doing that, when your silence, your calmness, and your focus on yourself show that you're not waiting for her, she starts to feel a sense of uncertainty. She wonders, wait, did I lose my hold on him? That question triggers self-reflection and curiosity. She starts remembering the moments you gave her attention, the energy she once took for granted. Suddenly, she's the one feeling the imbalance. And here's what makes this even more powerful. Detachment doesn't just change how she feels. It changes how you feel. You start seeing clearly. You stop overanalyzing her behavior and start valuing your peace more than her attention. That's when your energy becomes magnetic. Because the moment you stop trying to prove your worth, she begins to notice it. 5. The shift that makes her start remembering you. Something interesting happens when a woman starts to feel your silence. Her mind begins to drift back to memories she didn't value before. This is the psychological shift most men never see because they give up too early. When the noise stops, your calls, your texts, your efforts, her emotions start to fill that silence with reflection. That's when she starts remembering you, not as the man she left, but as the man she might have underestimated. At first, she'll remember the arguments, the flaws, the moments that justified her walking away. But as time passes, those fade. The emotions attached to the good memories start to surface instead. Your calm voice, the way you made her laugh, the security she felt around you. That emotional contrast is powerful, and it only happens when you stay silent long enough for her feelings to mature without interference. Picture this. She's at a cafe with a friend, and something, a joke, a song, a smell, reminds her of you. For a moment she feels something warm, something familiar. That's not coincidence. That's her subconscious revisiting emotional anchors tied to your presence. The more she experiences that, the more she starts to realize that your absence has created a space she can't easily fill. Now, this doesn't happen if you're still hovering in her orbit, liking her posts, watching her stories, or trying to get noticed. If you're still visible, she never gets the chance to miss you because you're still around in small doses. That's why complete detachment is crucial. It allows her mind to do the remembering for you. This is where the shift happens. Her ego might resist it, but her emotions start to rebel against the idea that she lost you. She begins to reframe her memories, painting you in a better light. She wonders if maybe she overreacted. Maybe she was too hard on you. Maybe she left someone who actually cared. And that's when the power flips again. Because now, she's the one doing the emotional chasing. You're no longer chasing her attention. Her mind is chasing your memory. The moment she starts remembering the good parts of you without the frustration of recent conflict, her attraction begins to rebuild itself. 6. The secret language of self-control. If there's one trait that silently communicates value to a woman after no contact, it's self-control. Most men think attraction is about saying the right thing or showing confidence through words. But women read your behavior more than anything you could ever say. The way you handle your emotions, your time, your responses, and your silence tells her everything about the kind of man you are. That's the secret language of self-control. See, women subconsciously test men to see if their emotions run deeper than their logic. When you can't control your reactions, when you panic, over-text, or try to force attention, you communicate that her behavior has power over you. And once she senses that, the attraction fades, because she sees a man who's driven by emotion, not discipline. But when you stay calm during silence, when you don't break no contact, when you don't respond to her mixed signals or bait posts, you're communicating strength without saying a word. That's what gets her attention. She might not admit it, but emotional control in a man is deeply attractive because it's rare. It tells her that you're not easily shaken, that your world doesn't revolve around her, and that you've learned to master yourself. Women associate self-control with confidence. When you're not desperate to react, it shows that you have options, that you're emotionally secure, and that your attention is something to earn, not something freely given. This subtly flips the dynamic. Instead of her wondering if you'll ever reach out again, she starts wondering if she still has your attention, and that's the key to making her chase you after no contact. It's not about coldness or arrogance. It's about showing, through your restraint, that you've outgrown the emotional chaos that used to define the relationship. You've become the kind of man who values peace more than drama. And that silent confidence pulls her in because it makes her feel both challenged and intrigued. 7. Becoming the man. She regrets losing. This is the stage most men never reach because they focus on getting the woman back instead of becoming the man she can't forget. After no contact, the goal isn't to prove your worth to her. It's to grow so much that she can't help but see the difference. Regret doesn't come from words or apologies. It comes from realization. When she realizes that you've evolved, that you're happier, more grounded, and no longer emotionally dependent on her, that's when regret hits her hard. But here's where you need to be brutally honest with yourself. If the only reason you're doing no contact is to make her chase you, she'll eventually sense that. Women can feel fake detachment. They can feel when you're waiting for a reaction or pretending to move on. That's not growth. That's performance. And performance never builds respect. Becoming the man she regrets losing starts with redirecting your focus completely. While she's wondering where you went, you should be building yourself. Get your finances in order, your fitness back on track, your purpose sharper than ever. Reconnect with your peace. The man she left behind might have been emotional, reactive, or too available. But the man she sees now should look like someone who doesn't chase anymore because he doesn't need to. You see, regret happens when she sees your transformation and realizes she was part of your past, not your present. When she notices that you're no longer bitter, no longer watching her, no longer seeking closure, that's when her ego takes the hit. Women expect men to stay emotionally attached. When you don't, it rewrites the narrative in her mind. She starts thinking, did I make a mistake? And that question is what makes her start chasing again. Here's the constructive truth. Many men never reach this level because they never truly let go. They pause their lives hoping for a message instead of using silence to rebuild themselves. They confuse waiting with healing, and that's why they stay stuck. Here's the truth that most men never want to accept. A woman doesn't chase words, promises, or effort. She chases energy. And after no contact, your energy tells her everything she needs to know. If it's calm, grounded, and focused, she feels your strength. But if it's desperate, restless, and full of expectation, she senses weakness. Attraction always responds to emotional strength, not need. No contact isn't about ignoring her. It's about rediscovering yourself. It's about rebuilding your value in silence until your presence speaks louder than your absence ever could. When she realizes you've evolved, that you've stopped chasing, that you've become centered, disciplined, and emotionally independent, that's when her curiosity turns into longing and her longing turns into pursuit. Here's the controversial truth. The more you stop needing her to return, the more she feels the urge to. That's how female psychology works. Emotional distance creates attraction when it's backed by genuine confidence. You can't fake it, you have to live it. So, if you've been through no contact and you're wondering what comes next, remember this. Don't chase her. Replace her attention with your purpose. Let her feel your growth, not your need. That's what truly makes her regret leaving. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever gone through no contact and seen how her behavior changed afterward? Share your story in the comments. I read every one of them, and I'll be responding personally. Let's talk about it. Because once you understand this dynamic, she doesn't chase words. She chases value. And that's exactly what you're becoming.